instead killed her by sucking out her life breath along with her poisoned breast milk. He then sent her to the spiritual world to enjoy eternal loving pastimes with him in a maternal relationship. Udhava continued, how fortunate were the demons who were killed in battle by Krishna, for they saw our Lord, weapons in hand, mounted on Garuda's back. Udhava recounted numerous other childhood pastimes to the spellbound Vidhura. He recalled how, called upon by Brahma to lighten the earth's burden, Krishna had been born in King Kamsa's prison. Fearful that Kamsa would kill the baby, Krishna's father Vasudeva immediately smuggled him to Vrindavan. There he lived for 11 years like a covered flame, along with his elder brother Baladeva. Surrounded by cowherd boys and calves, he wandered through the verdant forest, which were filled with the sweet vibrations of chirping birds. As a small boy, he gamboled with his friends on the Yamuna banks, just like a lion cub. When they were 6, Krishna and his friends were given charge of the cows and bulls as
Uh,
they
let's pause there. I've been like thinking about this point of how Krishna is in terms of he's so powerful, he's so forgiving. Basically, the qualities that are very difficult to exist in a human being, all of them at the same time. Basically, all the opulences, right? He's detached. And I was thinking of the detachment word. He's detached to see the faults of the devotees. He doesn't have like that nature to find faults. They're finding faults. That's not him. And he leaves that to modes of nature to handle, because he wants us to be corrected. And in the yesterday Gita connection, I shared one story about one Mataji who was very blissful off all the time. And then one day I saw her blissful in front of Radha Madhava. And I asked her, what are you grateful for today? And she said, I'm grateful that my son is in prison. And then I'm just thinking, sometimes Krishna is a little bit like that. Like he's like, if we're suffering or going through some disappointment, I mean, he's sad, but at the same sad meaning he feels for us, but at the same time, he sees the how do you say, the resurrection, the reformation that is it's to come. Another one of my mentors also, she asked Radhanath Swami to pray for her child, and it's a child. I mean, it was a teenager in huge trouble. So then, because the child was completely rebellious and doing all sorts of nonsense. And then Radhanath Swami asked her 3 times, are you sure you want me to pray? Are you sure you want me? So he asked her like that. And then she said, yes, Maharaj, please pray. He prayed for her, and then next day, that the daughter ended up in jail. And she called Maharaj and said that we asked you to pray and you prayed and she ended up in jail. And then she was sharing with me that after that episode of the jail, this daughter completely transformed. She stopped taking drugs, she stopped doing nonsense, everything just completely shifted. And then she became a very nice devotee, started practicing. So sometime that transitional moment, we might experience some sort of a very painful thing, but it's a good sign that when the direction changes, and then we are safe. Sometimes to get to safety, we have to go through some risk like that. So I've been thinking about how this is very different from the Christian concept of eternal hell. Even ghosts, by the way, they also have evolution. They also have chances. Not that once they become ghosts, they're completely eternally condemned. Nothing like eternal in this world. Everything is temporary only. Even the ghosts will be given a chance to, go back to moon planet and then be grown in some sabjis. That's why we should offer the food to Krishna, because inside those sabjis are all will be ghosts. And then when you eat that ghost, food will turn into sperm and everything in the man's body, and then child will come from that. That's why we should do Garbhadan Samskar. That's why we should offer food. So, if even both have a evolutionary opportunity to evolve and come back into some again and things, there is no, they say Bhagwan ke ghar mein der hai par andher nahi. So there is nothing like eternal hell. There is no eternal condemnation concept. Now you may, oh my God, if you say like that, Maya, they'll become so lost. Yeah, but it's like, again, with children, you can't force them. You can't force them to be devotees. They have to choose it. And that's what Krishna is looking for. He is looking for us to choose him willingly. He's not going to demand, you don't love me, then I will not do this and that. He'll still keep providing. He'll still keep giving happiness and distress. And he keeps, the sthanam, the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, we studied that he maintains all living entities. Even if they're not devotees, he maintains all living entities. But the protection aspect, yes, that is for devotees. Poshanam is for devotees. But then for devotees who have a broader understanding of Poshanam, wow, that's another whole thing. They make history. But if our understanding of protection is limited, then Krishna gives us opportunities to grow up. So, yeah, so sweet is the Lord. Why do we want to be stuck here? Don't we want to go back to him? There's a lizard confirming here. Yes, go back to him. Don't rot here. Okay, please continue. I mean, unless you have something to share.
This time we heard the lizard. You always say that. This time we heard the sound of the lizard.
Sorry?
This time we heard the sound of the lizard. You said the lizard made a sound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard that sound. Yeah, it was like pretty loud, right? Yeah. It's so nice. Yes, Mataji, so we can start. So they all frolicked on the way to the grazing grounds. Krishna would play his flute, entertaining his companions. Udhava described how so many demons were dispatched by King Kamsa to kill Krishna, who had been prophesied to kill the king and end his tyrannical reign. Those great wizards could assume any form they liked.
Not lizards, wizards. I'm joking.
Wizards. He said, I'm sorry, I'm trying to bake something on my daughter.
You want somebody else to continue reading?
No, I'll just probably finish this, and when I start, maybe someone can. Those great wizards could assume any form they liked, but in the course of his pleasure pastimes, Krishna killed them as easily as a child breaks dolls. Uddhava related how on one occasion, child Krishna had revived his friends and calves from the dead. The boys were unaware that the venomous Kaliya serpent had occupied a section of the Yamuna and polluted its water with deadly poison. Tired from running and playing all day, the boys and cows unsuspectingly drank from the river and slumped dead to the ground. Krishna revived them merely by his loving glance. Jumping into the water, he chastised Kalia and ordered him and his family members to leave the Yamuna. When the serpent departed, the water again became fit to drink. So, Kalia, would you like to say something more about Kalia, Mataji? Because he's the only one that Krishna doesn't kill, but then he kind of redeems him, right?
So, we can compare Krishna's dancing on Kaliya to his dance in our hearts. It's like a break dance of Krishna, break dance on Kaliya. So break dance of Krishna in our hearts. He's dancing his way into our hearts. And obviously there's going to be some ego crushing because we are all, at least we are filled with 1 teaspoon of false ego. Even as we're praying to Krishna, please help me, please engage me in service, please, I want to surrender to you. And then he sees this pride. I think Kaliya, let me see, I can't remember exactly, I forgot now. I don't know if Kaliya represents, let's look. Kaliya, serpent, Anartha, connected. Brutality and treachery. Brutality and treachery. So yeah, Krishna breaks that brutality mentality in us. I mean, there are different versions of, just as and treachery. What is treachery? What is the word? Let's see. Oh, betrayal of trust.
Cunningly doing something, right? Deception.
So that is treachery. So Krishna sometimes, like I said about this prison example of 2 devotees' lives, that the parents really wanted the children to be reformed. Sometimes Krishna puts them through the chastisement, just like he danced on Kaliya's head. He sometimes dances his way into our heart after a storm, after some difficulty. Yeah, anything else comes to your mind, Tharani? Because I can't think of anything else at the moment.
Regarding Kaliya, what I feel is like, that's what I was saying yesterday, like how he was actually a sadhu. And then there was another sadhu who came to the cave while he was meditating. And then when he opens his eyes, he realizes that another sadhu is sitting in his cave, and then he also meditating. So he gets very upset and he says, "This is my cave, can't you see?" But the poor sadhu would not have realized because it was dark that there's another person who's sitting inside. So that the new sadhu will feel very, he feels very shaken, and he says, "You're just acting like a snake, like so envious if somebody comes. It's not like this cave doesn't belong to you or to me. It belongs to the Supreme Lord. Being the sadhu, you're meditating and you're like, treating me like this. So you better become a snake." And then this person will also get upset, and he'll also counter curse him. I don't remember the curse, but he'll counter curse him. So the sadhu who's being cursed to become the snake becomes Kaliya, and they both will regret after that. Why did I even say such a curse? Why did I utter such a curse? They were like so powerful. Of course, it comes true. And then he's the what do you say, Kaliya snake. But then he's a very 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 elevated sadhu in the previous life. And then we also hear that in this life, the Nagapatnis, right, of this Kaliya, Nagapatnis, right, of Kaliya, they're like all devotees of Krishna, and they'll come and plead. So one version what I've heard is till very recently, all I thought was like it was because of the devotion, the intense devotion that these Nagapatnis had. And because they are devotees of Krishna, that's the reason why the Kaliya gets he doesn't get killed. He is forgiven by the Supreme Lord, and he actually places his footprints on his head, which is like so blessed, right?
Yeah.
he gets. But this other story I got to recently hear that he's actually a great sadhu. He was just cursed like that. So it was just that last, what do you say? When we look at the entire, all the lifespans, that our current lifespan is just like a blip, right? That's what my
Right.
verse, just a blip. We're just looking at this lifetime. But if you look at the entirety, just imagine where he was. He was a great, great, great sadhu. So Krishna gives his mercy. Ultimately, he goes back. He goes back to the abode of Krishna. All the demons that Krishna kills, they'll all
Mm.
have, so they all go back to Krishna's
Yeah.
abode. That's just like,
Right.
so inspiring. And Kalia, actually, yeah, one more thing that comes to mind is Kalia, he represents envy. So
Yeah.
when we the pastime of the Kalia Daman Leela, our own envy in our heart gets subdued by the supreme mercy of the sweet narrations of Krishna subduing Kaliya. And his
Mm-hmm.
envy stops us from understanding the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is envy which stops us from entering Golok Dham, right? It is envy which keeps us entrapped over here in the material world. So it is one of the amongst those six family those last time greed, envy, pride, illusion. Envy is something which we cannot use in Krishna's service, and that's something which we have to let go. It's very
Mm.
difficult to let go, right? Yeah.
And this reminds me how Krishna, um, there is always a reason behind why somebody's a certain way, why somebody has a snake like mentality, or why somebody is very selfish, or why, there's always some history to every devotee, every personality. We may see
Mm.
somebody being rude to us or something, but we don't know what they went through in their previous life, what trauma they experienced. Maybe they, like one of my very closest family member, he was a great scholar, great saint in his, not saint, but great scholar like that in his previous life. But he made some offense, because I see these things through charts, no, astrological
Wow.
chart.
Wow.
He got cursed. He did some aparat to the guru and in the ashram like this, and in this lifetime, he's a little bit externally. He's like dumb in the sense, not very lucky, not hardworking, but he has that internally. He feels that I know these things, I know those things, but externally his Mercury is debilitated, like literally, like no material success at all, and there is so much obstacles for even simple things in life, and so the soul is feeling that frustration and purification. And the Krishna's way of teaching the soul the lesson was taking away that pride, taking away the very reason due to which he offended. And then it's like for a snake, the teeth being pulled out.
Mm.
Like that. So I see this relative of mine, and it's like a snake without the teeth, going around, always angry, always irritable, always feeling bad that other people are progressing and he's not progressing, but really, really stuck. And so many times they did whatever different yagyas to this, that, but it's not, because it's a curse. It's not going to go away until we learn the lesson. And so, yeah, I mean, Krishna again mercifully teaches the lesson, mercifully comes, dances on Kaliya's head. For us also, if we can see Krishna's hand. So I'm just remembering how Krishna is always, his purpose is always to improve us. His purpose is always to help us.
And regarding the snake, as you're saying, right? One more thing, what my Guru Maharaj says is that if you're envious, right, towards anybody, then because of that envy, right, we will be born as a snake in the next life. Envy, because the snakes are very envious, right? So we'll be cast in a snake's body if there's so much of envy. That's like so scary, right?
Mm,
What's the antidote for envy? Appreciation, right?
love,
Appreciation is the
love,
antidote for love.
service. Yeah,
Mm.
love, service. My grandfather used to tell me when I was in school, there was so much competition. I mean, naturally, there was a little envy there oh, she has something better, she has this, that. And my grandfather would just say, go and serve that person. Go and I was like, what? I don't like that person.
Hmm.
He said, no, you actually like that person and you're feeling some jealousy. And he told me to just go make friends with that person. He didn't say serve, sorry. He said, go make friends with that person. And I was like, no, I don't want to make friends with the person. He said, just go and try. Because he saw that I was burning, the jealousy was burning me. And I remember,
Hmm.
I still remember, I was in like, I think fourth grade or like that. Yeah, fourth grade I was in. So then he told me, go make friends with that person. And then next day I went with a different mindset. I went with this mindset that, okay, let me try to make friends. But then I went there and I actually made friends. And then I remember a few days later, everybody went for PE, like physical education class. And I had, I don't know, some ankle hurt or something. And she also was in the class and she also didn't go for PE. She wouldn't go usually. She sat there and I had a conversation with her. And then she was actually telling me all the problems in her life, how she
Wow.
has so many health issues and she has this issue and that issue. And immediately immediately the envy or the jealousy just disappeared completely. And then that night, that evening, I went to my grandfather and I told him, actually, I'm not jealous of her anymore because she also has problems. I used to think that, she's so proud and she's so bossy and she's this and that. But actually, by talking to her today, I realized that she has so many health issues and she doesn't have a father and so many things I discovered with that conversation, which I would not discover if I didn't do what he told me, go make friends.
Hmm.
So sometimes just being, and to be honest, that instruction has always helped me. Always anytime I feel jealousy or insecurity, I just try to go and make friends with that person. A little bit more I know about that person, I develop more appreciation, I develop more compassion, I develop more a sense of respect to their life and their life lessons. So it really works. I think the antidote for that envy and jealousy is to be of service, do some service. Like that day, I guess my service was I heard to them. Like I heard to I listened to the person's sharing, and it has always helped me. So sometimes it's just that thing.
So beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. I think in this world, everybody is going through some problem, right? Even if there's something good going, there's always some problem will always be there. I
Oh,
don't feel I've not seen anybody who's
mm.
like having a perfect in every single sphere of their life. There will always be something which bothers them, right? So like that, there's no way. I mean, I don't feel like what do you say? As you said, like definitely will feel compassion when you look at that particular area of their life.
Yeah, I mean, it's both sides. Like I, again, there was one person that I felt very, I don't know, envy. It's more like jealousy, like not like I don't want
Mm.
them to have it, but more like, oh, like, insecure like that. There's somebody, they're very popular like that. And
Mm.
somehow or another, Krishna had arranged that we met and we kind of became a little bit friends, no? I mean, this person is senior to me. I cannot say friends exactly. Then during this festival time, I was having a conversation and she was like very concerned because somebody else was using her name and they had opened a Facebook page and they were posting things as if it was her. So she was
Wow.
very anxious. She was very worried, and she was saying, "Oh, it's not me. Some Maharaj contacted me. Why are you posting weird things? And it's not even me. I don't know what to do because this person is so popular that anybody can just take her picture, put it there, and say anything they want, and it's not so Krishna conscious." And I saw the anxiety of this person. Right, fame comes at a cost. Fame
Yeah,
and popularity comes at a cost. And then I remember next day, because this person is very popular, they didn't pay as much attention as they usually pay to me when we are on a phone call or when we had met in another place. In Mayapur, the person is much more busy, so many fans around, so many people following, etc., etc. And so next day, I didn't get much attention. Like, I mean, not much attention. She didn't even look at me that day because there are so many people. And then I actually again immediately felt a little bit of that like insecure, insecurity. And then I remembered like it's only a compensation sometimes. Internally, they also have so many fears, insecurities, different kinds of things, but externally they have to kind of cope up with it. There is, that everybody's trying to do their best according to their own capacity. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
it's not possible. Like even for me, so many students come to my house every week. I can't say Hare Krishna, how are you to everybody, every single person. I can't. Some of them only I can pay attention when I'm giving the class. I can look at them when I'm giving the class, but it's not it's not possible in the given limited time that I pay equal amount of attention to each person who comes to my program. So Krishna, I sincerely prayed to Krishna. I remember, Krishna, I want to be humble. I'm feeling neglected by this person. Because, before the person arrived in Mayapur, they told me, I want to go with you out. I want to go here and there, just you and me. But then after they came here, they
Oh,
completely neglected me. They didn't, I asked 2-3 times, I'm here if you want to go, but they never responded. They got busy. And I looked at them as if they were feeling proud about their fans around, and they were neglecting me. But actually, when I experienced this thing myself, I realized it's not pride. People are in my house. I'm busy. I'm trying to do this, that, this, that. I may appear to be confident and proud, but I'm not confident and proud. I'm just anxious to cater the needs, and like that. Even that person was in a similar situation. They had to give class, they had to do the ILS presentation, they had so many people around them, they had so many other responsibilities and this and that. And I remember when I prayed like this to Krishna, that's the best way. When we feel envious, we ask Krishna, please remove this envy from my heart, please remove this insecurity from my heart. And I remember on the way, when the person left Mayapur, they were in the car and they called me. They called me from the car and they said, I'm sorry, I couldn't respond. There was so many things going on. I couldn't get back to you. So you see, sometimes it's not what we think. We think that, oh, I'm being neglected, I'm being ignored, the person doesn't like me or something. But it's sometimes not about us. We are not the center of the universe, you know. Mm. So I'm just saying it works to make friends, but at the same time, it's not the end. There is always the need to go to Krishna, take our envy to Krishna, take our insecurity to Krishna, so he can heal us, he can cure us. And then I'm telling you, it will come to you the same. If I felt ignored by somebody and I feel affected by it, somehow or another Krishna will put me in a position that somebody will be ignored because of me, and then I am in a position of I have to explain myself, or it's humbling. It's a humbling thing. I'm telling you, really, having followers, having a lot of people is very austere, because you can't pay attention to everybody equally, and some people could get offended, some people can get like, somebody gave me a gift of a nice diary, and one of the students that come to my house, I can't remember the face of the person who gave me. So I keep thinking, like, I want to give something to this person, but I don't know who it was. So, I'm just saying, sometimes this kind of things can happen. And Krishna is like, so you wanted to be the center. So now, you don't even know who gave you the present. How are you going to reciprocate? So sometimes it's exchange where we can be grateful only to Krishna, because we don't know. And by the way, next after Kaliya comes Indra. That's also another pride related pastime. But we will end here today with the Kaliya, and tomorrow we'll start with the second chapter, 32, 33 verses onwards. So we'll end here with Kaliya Damana Vidana. Any
I
other?
think about Madhavendra Puri, like
Yeah,
how when he realizes that he might become famous, he just ran away.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
it's such beauty, right? Such simplicity in his heart. Like I'm very, I don't know, I feel so attracted to that particular pastime. Like how he runs away at
True,
this time. It's very difficult to do that, and then Madhya realized that.
true. And then he comes back, of course.
He comes back to the same place to put the chandan, right?
Mm-hmm. Comes
Correct.
back.
Because of Lord's service, he'll come back, right, Mataji?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, another pastime I remember is Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one time was so exhausted after a kirtan. He just was lying down in the entrance of the room like that. He was so exhausted, he just fell there. And Govinda, the servant, needed to serve Mahaprabhu, right? So he saw that Mahaprabhu was lying down in such a way that, to go and massage Mahaprabhu's feet, he had to cross Mahaprabhu. He had to kind of go over the body of Mahaprabhu, cross with his legs, and then only do the service. So he was so hesitant. But then finally he decided, no, I have to do this service. So for the sake of service, he crossed. He stepped over Mahaprabhu and he went the other side and he started massaging the feet. Then he finished the service and he just sat there. And Mahaprabhu woke up after some time and then he said, oh, what are you doing here? Why are you inside here? And he said, well, I wanted to do the service. And he said, yeah, but you're done long ago. You're supposed to be out there. You're supposed to go and rest also. And he said, yeah, but he said, I didn't want to cross over and go. And Mahaprabhu said, but you crossed me and came in. So what's the problem of crossing and going out? And Govinda said, no, crossing in, I did it because it was for serving you. The purpose was to serve you. But to go back crossing would be for myself, the sake of my rest, my convenience. That would be offensive. So I didn't. So I like that pastime so much. It really gives that, what you just said about Madhavendra Puri also. For our own, like if it's like for our benefit, only like selfish benefit, we don't do it. But if it's for the Lord's service, even if it means giving the dust from our feet so Krishna's headache can be cured, we are willing to do it for Krishna. But not that entitlement, that why Krishna is attention to me, why this devotee is not paying attention to me. No, like the example I gave you, why this devotee is supposed to pay me attention, why I'm supposed to get that respect, right? And then I did my journaling that day and I concluded I wanted to be of service to this Vaishnavi. And I proposed 2-3 times saying, I'm here. If you want, I can take you around to Yoga Pit, another place like that, as discussed. So if my mood was because I wanted to be of service to them, it's okay. But as soon as it became, oh, they're not giving me attention, and why I need that attention, because it feels good to get attention from somebody popular among other people. If I get attention, it feels good, right? Like I'm important to this person, walking next to this person and clicking pictures with a person. It's about my selfish interests. So, and then I dropped it right there. I remember after the journaling that night, I dropped it. I dropped the idea of getting attention, and I just mind my own business. I was doing my own thing. And then, of course, as a reward, I guess Krishna made that person call me later on to apologize that, sorry, I could not pay attention. So like that. So it's not about me and what I like and what makes me feel good. That's not the point. Thank you. Thank you, Taruni. Thank you.
It's so sweet of you to even share this, intimate kind of an exchange. It's so beautiful, Mataji. Yeah, I would have also felt like, the anticipation of like, going with somebody with a plan,
Mm.
especially like in town. I would have felt like, oh my God, I mean, the whole time I would have anticipated them coming. And when they're not able to do, I mean, I would have also felt disappointed, right? It's just very natural. It's not like unnatural to not, somebody plans and then they don't show up or they're unable to make it, then it does feel kind of a little disappointing, definitely.
Yeah, especially because practically I was kind of waiting. I didn't plan anything else. I was telling no to everybody, hoping that I had kind of committed to this devotee that I'll take them out. So I was, in that kind of, it's a practical situation as well. Little, not so emotional because I'm not so attached to this person, but still there was that hope, this is such an amazing devotee. And